Hey guys, CryptoDad here again, and welcome to the live Q&A in LA every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk about a little bit of news and a little bit about the Ledger Nano S this week. So thanks for joining me. Let's get going. All right, welcome. What am I trying to do here? Hey, Crypto Man, nice to see you. I like your handle. Let's see here. I got this camera pointing a little bit. There we go. I think that's better. I'm a little more centered there. BJ, thanks for joining me. Let's go ahead and skip over to the news and get going. Celtic FC fan, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see, what are we doing here? Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, so the big news this week was, of course, there was a surge in Bitcoin. And let's see where we're at here. Strongest 24-hour surge since July. The total market cap jumped $11 billion. Now, of course, last week when we were here, we were all bemoaning the crash of the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets to their 2018 lows. But this was quite a jump, and it's I don't know that much about markets, but you know, you've heard of the dead cat bounce, and I was wondering today, well, maybe that's what this was, but it was quite a high bounce. So it gave me, and I'm sure other people that, you know, have placed their hopes in the crypto market and the crypto industry, some hope. So let's see. There's a lot of good, hey John, Two Guys Natty, Cue Ball, thanks for joining us tonight. We're just going through the news. We had a good surge this week in Bitcoin. And speaking of surges, there was another surge in Bitcoin that was on that same day. The Google searches for Bitcoin surged to 8-month high. So what that means is that a lot of people are typing in Bitcoin in their Google searches. And now this was the #1 top trending search term in December of 2017, I believe, at some point. And it's not quite back where it was. I guess back in December it reached like a perfect 800, but it has resurged to what is it? Not an all-time high, 8-month high. So I'll take what I can get. It's good. People are interested in Bitcoin, and the market tends to coordinate with that or correlate with that. So, but we all know, if we studied science, that correlation does not prove causation. They might both be happening independent of each other. One might be causing the other might be causing the other. So we don't know for sure. But it is nice that there's a correlation with an upswing with the Google interest in Bitcoin, which means more retail people are probably interested. Crypto Man, Chadwick Austin, good to be. Thanks for being here. Let's see, the next thing, I keep clicking the wrong link here. You know, the reason why is because I've resized my screen so that you guys can see it easier, and I usually have it at a much higher resolution, so my browser is different. All right, so let's see, what else did I put here? Okay, so we had this earlier in the day that I guess on Monday the representatives of VanEck and SolidX made a case with the SEC for approving their exchange-traded fund, their Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. And so they made some pretty compelling arguments about that there are other things that are also have ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, like crude oil, silver, and gold, and all of those things are subject to manipulation as well. There can be discoveries of new silver that some insiders might be aware of that most people would not, and they can buy or sell accordingly. And then there might be things that go wrong, like weather or whatever, that could affect the price, that insiders can know ahead of time and use that knowledge to block or manipulate the market. So their argument was that Bitcoin is less prone to manipulation than these types of commodities. So all in all, it sounded like a pretty good argument. They made a pretty good case. Unfortunately, right before the yeah, they could say Bitcoin crash. Yeah, that's probably what they were searching for. That's true. They might have from the week before. But unfortunately, one of the SEC chairman made a comment that he doesn't think that Bitcoin is ready to be an exchange-traded fund. Now, this wasn't an official consensus decision to reject the ETF, but it was someone very influential on in the SEC, the chairman, who was stating that he doesn't think Bitcoin is ready. He might be outvoted. I doubt it. So it doesn't look like that there will be a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund in the near future. But not to worry, there are still Bitcoin futures trading platforms, which are already active. So, and then some new ones that are coming up. So if we look at Bakkt, which is a company that's formed with ICE, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, Microsoft, and Starbucks, and they're going to be opening a new trading platform where people can trade Bitcoin futures that I believe are going to be Bitcoin settled. Maybe not. I hear back and forth on that. But if they are going to be Bitcoin settled, that means that at the expiration of the contract, then the person that placed the contract will have to take delivery of said Bitcoin, so to speak. So because real Bitcoin will be changing hands, that will give a swing up in the overall value and market for Bitcoin. That's the idea. And of course, the New York Stock Exchange chairman says that Bitcoin and crypto are here to stay. It's really an interesting ecosystem because there are so many voices on both sides, and they all seem to have their own authority, so to speak. You've got the old school mainstream financial people that are harping over and over again that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, and that the crypto markets are doomed to failure, and they're not real markets, and all that sort of stuff. And then you have other very, very smart people telling us that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are here to stay. So what do we believe? In my case, my suggestion to all of you is make your own decision, do your own research, and take what the experts say with a grain of salt, and don't follow any one particular expert. Form your own opinion based on the evidence and the facts, and we'll see how things go forward. Chadwick. let's see. What do you got here? Message held for review. Is this going to be good or bad? Let's see what you got. A few days ago. Now, I apologize if I don't get to all of the comments and all of the emails. A lot of times I'll read them on my phone, and I'm not really in a position to answer the questions or whatever it may be. Or it's something that I don't want to get involved in. But I did go back. I did go through my CryptoDad emails the other day and tried to reply to everyone that I thought was nice enough to write me an official email question. So I apologize if I don't get into everything. And I will. Let's go through my email and see what that was, because I know there were a couple that I skipped. But let me hit one more piece of news, or a couple more that I had queued up here, and this one. Okay, so this is an article that this so-called, or this expert says that cryptocurrencies will never be a store of volume, and surprise, surprise, he works for a big bank, right? So right there, you've got someone who is, his entire career is staked on centralized financial organizations, and Bitcoin is a decentralized ecosystem, right? So of course the banks are going to be not very happy with a decentralized monetary system. But what's interesting, if you go through articles like this, and he says this: every economist knows that a store of value is about balancing supply and demand, but cryptocurrencies, you cannot control the supply in response to a drop in demand. And I think he said something about here it is, a high school education in economics. Okay. Well, yeah, that's his paradigm, and that is the paradigm of most people in the financial business. And that's what big banks do, especially the Federal Reserve and the World Bank, the IMF, all those types of organizations. They try to control the prices by what we would call manipulating, or what I would call manipulating. They raise and lower interest rates, and that is how they balance supply and demand. Well, that's why cryptocurrencies came about. We had these big banks that were creating money out of thin air, making risky bets, and they were the ones that were supposed to be controlling everything and balancing the supply and demand with their interest rates and their whatever, and they failed miserably in 2008. The system almost collapsed, and Bitcoin came out as an alternate system. Maybe not perfect, but in antithesis to this system. So to compare Bitcoin and say, well, it's not, anybody that knows anything about economics should know that, that it's a flawed theory. Well, it's an alternate theory, right? It doesn't follow their paradigm. It's not about manipulating you can't do that with Bitcoin. You can't raise interest rates or print more of it. It's the supply will always end. So anyway, let's see. There was one more little thing. I think that was it. Oh, yeah, we got to everything. All right, so it's just those four. Okay. How do people store... Okay, so Chadwick, let's see what you asked me. If I can find that. Okay, this is CryptoDad. And let's see, Chadwick at Rocket Mail. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, okay, so Chadwick, the reason that I didn't respond to this was that this is the kind of thing you should be capable of doing on your own. I could sit down and Google this kind of stuff But you know, you're basically asking me to do research for you and just report back to you. It's not really a troubleshooting request or a specific question. You're just asking me to do grunt work. So that's why, respectfully, I did not reply to this email. I'm flattered that you asked me this, but this isn't something that I know off the top of my head. And to be honest with you, I've dealt with a lot of people that have lost passwords and seed phrases and access over the years. You know, people say that, you know, I got a lot of Bitcoin and I can't find it. And, you know, I feel for you. But the way Bitcoin is designed, if you've lost your password and your seed phrase, you've lost your cryptocurrency. So there's not a lot I can do. So I apologize. I meant to reply to you, but I didn't want to give you hope, right? So, and I get a lot of these kind of emails, so it's better in the long run for me to just sort of let them fall between the cracks. But I appreciate you showing up for the live stream. I appreciate that. But there's nothing in here that you can't do with a little bit of Google. But like I said, if you don't have your password or your seed phrase, you're pretty much, you know, you've lost that cryptocurrency. I've done it. I've lost plenty of cryptocurrency. I had a bunch of seed phrases that I used to recover Bitcoin that I had in various blockchain wallets, blockchain.info. And I used those seed phrases to scour to see if I'd have left $5 or $10 worth of Bitcoin, and you know, because Bitcoin had risen in price since I created those wallets, and I had about $100, $150 worth of Bitcoin that I recovered. And then I just tossed them, not realizing later that I probably would have been entitled to some Bitcoin Cash if I'd have been able to, if I still had them. You know, if I still had those seed phrases, I could have probably been recovered some Bitcoin Cash from those too, because it was a hard fork from the Bitcoin blockchain. So once it's gone, it's gone. I'm really sorry to have to say that. Well, yeah, that's the way it goes. I would like to use you as a resource for all things internet. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not really a resource. I'm not like a, you know, your go-to guy, your tech support guy. That's not my gig, really. I just do the videos and I do the live stream. If you got a specific question during the live stream, I'd be happy to tackle it. But I'm not like the resource guy, you know, that you're going to pay to do research for you. That's not my, I don't have any desire to be that kind of person. There might be other people out there that are willing to do that for you. But today I really wanted to talk about, let's see what this is. Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. All right. Let's see if I can, I'll get you back. Okay, I'll get you back. Okay, so let's jump into questions. I keep my token in Atomic Wallet. Will they be automatically have the token swap done on them? All right, so we're going to talk about the Ledger Nanos tonight, but let me just get a couple of questions going. Atomic Wallet. What's, oh man, the token swap done? I believe you're asking about whether the Atomic Wallet will support the Bitcoin Cash swap. Okay. Well, it doesn't specifically address the latest uh, Bitcoin Cash. There we go. Bitcoin Cash hard fork explained 3 days ago. Okay, so here they say they will support the upcoming fork. All right, so that means that wallet, there will be a mechanism for you to claim that split off Bitcoin Cash. I think they call it Bitcoin SV. I think they finally settled on Bitcoin SV here. I believe that's it, right? I believe that there were two competing forks for Bitcoin Cash. One I think was called Bitcoin ABC, something like that, and the other was Bitcoin SV, which stands for Satoshi's Vision, and they both wanted to be called Bitcoin Cash after the fork, and I believe the Bitcoin ABC won. So that fork is now what we call Bitcoin Cash, and the other fork is what we now call Bitcoin SV. And so as you can see, Bitcoin Cash is selling for around 171, and Bitcoin SV is around 93.75. So if you had the old Bitcoin Cash and you had a lot of it, then there should be a way for you to claim your Bitcoin SV, and you'll have Bitcoin SV. So it's kind of like free money. So, but I won't get too far into, the question is, will they support it? And the answer is yes, and we'll go from there. And then he wants to know, how do people store their Bitcoin if they hundreds of thousands? Surely they don't hook up to their computer at home and risk it. BTC on a Ledger Nano. Well, you have to store your cryptocurrency somewhere, right? If you're worried about your computer, then you can save your cryptocurrency in a paper wallet. There are paper wallets that you can create to store Bitcoin. And then if you're worried someone's going to come look at your computer, you would store that paper somewhere safe, in a safety deposit box, or you send a copy to your mom or whatever, and you find a good way to hide it so that the bad guys don't grab your paper wallet. And also your Bitcoin wallets have seed phrases. When you first set up a Bitcoin wallet, like the Electrum Bitcoin wallet, you get a seed phrase which can be used to restore the wallet at any time, and it will always restore it to its current state. So if you create the seed phrase when you set up the wallet, and then you throw 100 Bitcoins in there, and then you destroy the wallet, or you uninstall the wallet from that computer, you can always restore the wallet to another computer somewhere, and it will still have those 100 Bitcoins in it, even though you created the seed phrase when the wallet was empty. The seed phrase just points to the address. So if you've transferred Bitcoin to that address, then that seed phrase will always give you access back to the Bitcoin. So you could, if you had hundreds, thousands of Bitcoins, store them in either a paper wallet or in a desktop wallet, and then save the seed phrase, uninstall the wallet from the computer, and you don't have that much Bitcoin hanging around on your computer. You got it somewhere safe. But most people consider their computers pretty safe. And then you've got the Ledger Nano S, which is a hardware wallet solution that stores the private keys for you, encrypted on a chip inside here. And that's a really safe place to store your crypto as well. The worst thing about a desktop wallet is that the worry is that somebody might hack your machine, either from the internet or physically. Someone might get in to your house and get on your computer. So we're considering that to be a bit of a liability. So, you know, a Ledger Nano I can disconnect and hide somewhere safe. And if I got a lot of crypto stored on it, then maybe just buy one for the long term, you know, the large storage, hide it, and use a different one for your day-to-day stuff. All right. Hey, Grand Illusion, good to see you. You know, it's funny, Litecoin, someone's asking me about Litecoin. I always had a lot of faith in Litecoin. And it's at $31 right now. And it was 200. I think it was even higher than that at some point. Let's look at the 5-year chart. Yeah, it was 306 on December 16th, 2017. And I always believed in Litecoin. It's been around a really long time. It's fast, it's cheap. It did much better than Bitcoin in December of 2017 when the Bitcoin network got bogged down and the times were getting longer and the fees were getting higher. Litecoin was a really good alternative to move cryptocurrency around. In fact, if you've watched my videos, I do a lot of, when I buy altcoins, I'll usually start with Litecoin. I'll buy Litecoin on Coinbase, transfer it to an exchange, and then sell the Litecoin for Bitcoin or Ethereum and buy the altcoin. And the reason I use Litecoin is because it's fast. Like when I transfer the Litecoin from Coinbase to the exchange, it's only a matter of minutes, as opposed to Ethereum or Bitcoin, which could take, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm a very impatient person. So I always thought Litecoin had a great use case, and so I believe in it. And I've read some, you know, some pretty positive articles about Litecoin. It's really cheap right now. I mean, just think about it. I mean, if you could buy Bitcoin, if you were around when Bitcoin was $31, you know, and you didn't buy it, you'd kind of be kicking yourself going, man, why didn't I buy Bitcoin when it was $31? I could have bought $500 worth of Bitcoin, or, you know, for $31 a pop, and, you know, look where you'd be had been now. So Litecoin is very, very cheap, relatively speaking, if we believe in the cryptocurrency market or ecosystem as a whole. So I'm pretty, I guess you would say, bullish on Litecoin. And I've read a few. This one here, forecast 345% gains. Well, that would be nice considering that it was $200. So, I mean, if we multiply 31 times 3.5, we're only talking like $100 anyway. I mean, I'd like to see it get all the way back to 200, 300, right? What is that? I don't know. Like 10,000%, or I don't know. Not 10,000. Well, it could be, you know, like 600%, 800, 900%. That would be what I'd like to see. And why not? Why not that it wouldn't go back to its all-time high? We don't know. A lot of people say that December of 2017 was a fluke. But if you'll recall, Bitcoin hit $1,000 in late 2013 and then languished for a few years after that, and then like surpassed it. So you never know, you know, when these highs come and then they go back down, could be a buying opportunity for someone that believes. But don't mortgage your house and buy Litecoin, please. Animal Bed, legendary live streams. I don't know about legendary. Whenever you try to log into my Binance account using Brave browser, it always fails. What's happening? That one I know. What you have to do when you go to Binance, what happens is you try to do this business. this thing doesn't work in Brave, right? But it does for me, and you know why? Because I've this one. You hit that little lion up here, and you put the shields down for Binance. So if you put the shields down for Binance, you'll be able to get past that CAPTCHA. It took me a while to figure that one out, and but every now and then it still doesn't work. So my fallback is to just go back and use it in Chrome. I know that's kind of cheating, I guess, because I like to use Brave for everything. So, but try that. Try putting the, and it doesn't mean you're putting the shields down for all of the webs, just the one you're on. See, for www.binance.com, you've put shields down. That's the price you have to pay if you want to access your Binance through Brave. But there's no ads on Binance anyway, so it's you're not really it's not much of a compromise at all, really. It's just you're getting access back to your account. Hey, Carl Monte got a $50 Black Ledger. That's awesome. Does Coinbase support the split? I don't know. I would assume yes, because they're one of the big guys. So let's just see if they have it listed here. See, they may not have it listed yet. So if they're not listing Bitcoin SV, they may not be awarding it, right? All right, let's get into this. Two-step verification. Coinbase 738390. I kept seeing alerts about Bitcoin Cash. But see, I don't see that they support. Yeah, see, so I don't think they I don't know how they would award you if it's not really available yet on Coinbase. They might. There may be a way, but it doesn't appear that it does at the moment. So, but, you know, if you had Bitcoin Cash in Coinbase on the date of the hard fork, you can safely move it out and still be eligible for the Bitcoin SV if they support it. Because the only requirement is that the Bitcoin Cash was in the wallet on the date of the hard fork, the moment of the hard fork, right? So hopefully they may release some guidance on if they're going to support it. So let's just Google it and see. Coinbase Bitcoin Cash. You see, it's not rocket science here. This one appears to be the most recent, November 15th. Okay, so it looks like they're taking a wait and see attitude. And this is basically just talking about how they turned off access. You couldn't buy or sell it for a while. So I don't know if they're going to actually support. Oh, okay. Coinbase intends to allow customers to withdraw, though we do not currently intend to support trading, buy or sells. Yeah, I'm still not sure if that means they're going to give you your Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's version or not. I'm not too sure. How do you create a paper wallet? There's several ways to create a paper wallet. Oops. I must have misspelled it. Bit address. Yeah. Let's just Google it. There we go. So this is bitaddress.org. It will generate a paper wallet for you. I'm moving my mouse around to get some randomness going here. Right, and then it has just generated a new random public-private key pair, right? And this is the private key, which you don't want anyone to see, and this is the public key, which you can use to make deposits. So all you have to do is print this guy up. You could print it on a color printer, it'll look nicer, right? And there you go. You got yourself a little paper wallet. Now, that was pretty slapdash, right? There are other ways to do that that are a little more secure, right? This JavaScript website, you can download that code and run it while you're offline, so that like people they think hackers might be watching you, or they've got whatever the hackers do. They have they can observe your screen during this stuff. So there are more secure ways to generate that paper, but that's it in a nutshell, right? And then once you've done that, you can take that, you can even transfer Bitcoin from a phone-based wallet by scanning that public address and just sending Bitcoin to it. And then, so let's say, okay, I store 2 Bitcoins in this paper wallet by transferring Bitcoin into that public address. Then I just put this away somewhere for a really long time, and then you can use the private key to send out Bitcoin when you want to cash out. You can sweep the private key into a desktop wallet. And it's a safe way to store your Bitcoin, but not very convenient, right? It's kind of difficult to get the Bitcoin back out again. It's not impossible, it's just not convenient. So that's paper. Let's talk a little bit about, and see, I have looked at Elipal. They want to send me one. So, and I told them they can send me one and gave them my information. So they're supposed to be sending me one, and I'll do a online review. Although the way those work is, let me see this. What happens is you get, let's, for example, think of this as the Epilol wallet, right? It's got a little screen, and it generates QR codes, right? And it generates Bitcoin addresses and other cryptocurrency too. And then you download the app on your phone, right? And so once you're using their app, the app will use the app to scan the address on the screen of the Epilol to transfer Bitcoin in there. And then if you want to send Bitcoin out, then you need the Epilol will scan the QR code generated by the app, which is the transaction, right? And then the Epilol will sign it and generate another code, which you'll scan with your phone. So the two devices kind of work together by scanning QR codes. And the idea is that this thing is never connected to the computer or the internet, right? It's completely, totally secure. It's okay. It's a cold wallet. I get it. It's a little bit inconvenient, especially compared to Ledger. But I'll check it out and I'll let you guys know. All right, so let's look at Ledger Live. All right, and let's log into Ledger Live. Okay, and so last week, I think we actually I think in the video that I did, we talked about how we can manage 2 Ledger Nano S devices using 1 copy of Ledger Live. And so I have 2 ledgers. Right, I got the white and the black, and they're both connected to my computer at the moment, right? So I have created an account. This is the Bitcoin Ledger White account, right? And so if I want to receive Bitcoin, right, it wants me to connect this guy. So I can connect this guy by entering the PIN. All right, and then entering the Bitcoin app on this guy. Right, and everything's fine and dandy, and it sees the address, right? So I can confirm the address, all right? And I can view you know, I can use this account, right? And notice that I named the account Bitcoin Ledger White, right? To indicate to me that it belongs to this Ledger Nano White, right? So let's get out, quit the app, and then let's try this other guy here, and let's send. Well, I can't send. Let's do another receive, right? And let's enter the PIN for the black ledger, which we know does not belong to this account. The private key of this Bitcoin address in this account is not stored on this black. If I can get the key in here. All right, and then I'm going to enter the Bitcoin app. Right, and now you see it knows that this is not the right device. So what it was expecting was for me to enter the PIN on this device. So, but as you can see, Ledger knows that this account goes with this device. And so I've created this account, and I've also created this account, the Ethereum Ledger White account. And they both have private keys that are stored on the white. Now I've also, there's a Bitcoin Ledger Black Bitcoin address that the private key for this account is stored on this Ledger Black, all right? So as you can see, I can manage both accounts at the same time using the different ledgers in the same copy of Ledger Live. I think that's what a lot of people were wanting to do. They didn't want to have to uninstall and reinstall Ledger Live every time they switched nanos. You don't have to. You can manage 2 nanos or more in Bitcoin in Ledger Live. Now let's look at this DigitBy account. Right, the DigitBy is stored on this black, right? So I don't think it's on here anymore. It's not. I had to remove it. I was trying to do something. I had to remove the app on here. But in order for me to remember these accounts were already there when I bought the white, I had a bunch of stuff on the black. So to make it better, let's hit DigitBy, go over to this wrench, and instead of calling it DigitBy, we'll call it DigitBy Ledger Black. All right, and there now we've got, I call it a mnemonic or whatever you want to call it, but it's a way to keep straight in your mind which, and then the vert coin is on the black. I know that. We'll call this one vert coin Ledger Black. So you can manage stuff like that, right? And then let's see, this one with 55 cents. I don't even need it, right? I'm not going to delete it, but I mean, I'm not going to delete the private keys, but I don't need the account. It's just sort of in the way. All right, I want to clean up. That's what, $1? I'll take that one off for now too. All right. So we got DigitBy, Vertcoin, Ethereum white, Bitcoin black, and then the Litecoin is also on the black. So we'll change the name there. And hit apply. All right. Now, the only drawback to this, if you want to call it a drawback, is you can't really keep them separate in the portfolio. So when you go to portfolio, it's going to show you the total balance on both ledgers, right? It's gonna add all of the accounts up and give you the total amount on both ledgers, which might be what most people would want. Some people might like to see them separate. So, but in order to see them separate, you just manually have to go, okay, here's the white. It's got 22 ETH and 85 Bitcoin. So, okay, the white's got about 100 bucks worth of crypto on it. So you kind of have to separate it in your own mind, right? And then if you want to add, let's say I want to add, let's add DigitBy to the white, right? So I'll go over to manager, and it wants me to allow manager. Actually, it's asking me to do it on the black. So let's see. Let's try it with the white, see if it will do it. Now, for the manager, you might just have to disconnect. Yeah, it looks like you're just going to have to disconnect one of them. Right. Actually, I've disconnected both of them and just reconnected the white on its own. So I'll enter the pin. I wonder if you can tell by my eyes what my pin is, right? Are you looking at the reflection in my glasses? Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that would be catastrophic, wouldn't it? All right. Of course, you'd need access to my ledger, too, or my 24-word recovery phrase to make that scheme work. Just knowing my PIN isn't enough. You have to come steal my ledger too. All right. All right. So now it sees this ledger, and it wants me to confirm on that. All right. So go ahead. So some of the functionality you might have to swap around a little bit. What we're doing is we want to add an app to this guy. Right. So it comes up, and let's add DigitBy. Right, we'll just hit install. And there we go. We've got DigitBy on there. So now I need to add the DigitBy account, right? So I'm going to go to accounts. I'm going to choose DigitBy, and I'm going to hit continue. And now it's going to scan the white for a DigitBy private key, which I generated when I added the app the first time, right? Oh, it wants me to open it. All right, so we got to go over to DigitBy, right? And then hit both buttons. All right. Now it's scanning this device, or it might actually be generating the private key now. What it'll do is it'll look and it'll say, oh, it's going to generate a private key, and it's going to look on the blockchain for any existing addresses on the DigitBy blockchain. And then if it doesn't find them, it'll treat it like a new account. If I had DigitBy on here before, it's always going to regenerate the exact same private key. That's what they call deterministic. So even when you do a full reset and restore, the first time you run the DigitBy account scan, it's going to regenerate a private key, and it'll always be the same exact private key as long as you're using the same 24-word recovery phrase. It's getting too far away there, right? DigitBy Ledger White has a nice ring to it, right? And we tick it and we add it, and there we go. All right, so now you can see, unfortunately they don't like separate the way I would like them to. I don't think you can drag them around. I think they just put them in. Well, actually the newest one always goes on the top, and then it will eventually sink down if you go back and forth. But anyway, there's 0 DigitBy white. There's 0 DigitBy in the wallet, and I could most likely move some from the black into the white if I had a mind to, right? So let's see. Well, yeah, he said he lost 1,000 Bitcoin. Hi, Summer. Been buying all year and I don't have a single Bitcoin. More power to you, though. I like scoop it up when it's cheap, right? Can you put ADA Cardano on the Ledger Nano S? Unfortunately, not yet. They don't have. There's no Cardano support on the Ledger. You can check when you just go to their website. Whoops, that's not where I want to go. Let's see here. Okay. So if you're at the Ledger homepage, I guess they're busy over in France, right? If you go to the crypto assets link up here, it'll tell you exactly what they currently support. And Cardano is not there yet. Hopefully it will be soon. Speaking of Cardano, I saw a article earlier about Cardano and Coinbase. They believe that Cardano will be the next cryptocurrency added to the Coinbase platform. Currently, if you want to buy Cardano, you can't buy it on Coinbase. You have to buy something on Coinbase and transfer it to a different cryptocurrency exchange that supports Cardano, and then from there you can bring it back, purchase the Cardano. But there's nowhere to store your Cardano yet in a ledger yet. You have to use the Cardano wallet, Daedalus. Let's just do this. Yeah, you have to go to the Cardano homepage and download their wallet. It's a desktop-based wallet, but it has a seed phrase, a recovery phrase, so it's a very secure wallet. So you can download it, go through the setup, write down that seed phrase, keep it in a safe place, and then it happened to me. My hard drive crashed, and my Daedalus wallet was on there, And so I I got a new hard drive, I reinstalled the wallet, and I recovered from that seed phrase and had all of my cryptocurrency. So if you take anything away from this, always get a seed phrase. And if your wallet doesn't have a seed phrase, it usually means it's like a hot wallet, like a web-based wallet, and it's not that secure, you know. Every good desktop wallet should present a seed phrase to you when you first set it up. That's your recovery phrase. Just like the Ledger has that 24-word recovery phrase. Good news, bad news. Sebastian Rico, good to see you. Profits on Mining Pool Hub have been very poor. I just about tripled my mining payouts by switching to Honey Miner. Interesting. Let's check this link out. Okay. Okay, it's like a web-based miner, I'm assuming. So you don't really send cryptocurrency to your own wallet address, but you generate cryptocurrency by when this thing is running, you're lending the power of your GPU to their mining pool, and they use it to help them mine, and then they reward you on here. I think you have to create your own Honey Miner wallet, and that's okay. I'm a little more to the traditional. I like to feel like it's coming into my own wallet, where you're running like a wallet-based software that will actually mine, you know, you point it at a pool and it actually sends cryptocurrency to your own wallet directly. But these are, if you're getting a better profit on this, more power to you. Those of you who are interested in mining, it's basically lending the processing power of your GPU to a mining pool. You can't really solo mine with a GPU. Even people that build multiple GPU rigs usually mine in mining pools. They don't try to solo mine. Solo mine is when it's you against the blockchain, right? And you're competing against all the other miners, hoping to win that block. Very low chances of winning a block being a solo miner, especially if you're just running a single GPU. But if you join a pool and you point your GPU at something like this, you're going to share in the profits. The entire pool is going to find blocks because it's a large, you know, group of GPUs mining together. So they have a much bigger chance of finding a block and getting rewarded, and then splitting those rewards between all of the miners. So yeah, if you, and keep in mind though, when you're mining, a couple of things you have to remember. One, you can't really mine while you're doing your gaming and video editing, right? It's gonna steal, you know, the oomph out of your computer, right? So you want to do it at night. And then the other thing you'll have to remember is that you're gonna burn up more electricity if you got your computer humming all day long and all night. And you're going to have more wear and tear on the computer as well, and the GPU. So just keep those things in mind, and don't run out and buy a $1,000 GPU card because it might take you a year or two to break even, and then your GPU will be obsolete by that point. So a lot of things to consider in mining, but fun for just a little extra cash. Who knows? Question. If you decide you make enough profit on something like Stellar or XRP, how do you get your money from wallet like Nano back most efficiently? Okay. So that's pretty good. So basically what you'll do, let's say that at some point that I don't have any Stellar on here. Actually, I do have some Stellar. Why don't we, let's do the Stellar. Trying to find my connector here. I'm going to reconnect the black because there is some stellar on this ledger. All right, and did I remove Stellar? No, I didn't. Yay, Stellar's still here. So we go into Stellar, and I've entered the Stellar app, but there is no Stellar account, right? There's no Stellar support for Ledger Live. So you can store the Stellar private key on the Ledger, but you have to use it with a Stellar-based wallet. So if it's Stellar, and I'm going to go, let's say, it's probably over here. Oh, wrong. Let's close all these guys down. With Stellar, you can just connect to a Stellar exchange and sell your Stellar for something else. Like for instance, you could exchange your Stellar for XRP, US dollars, but you would have to set up the tether in advance. Now another way to do it would be to say, okay, there is Stellar in this wallet. My mouse is giving me a hard time. Okay, so there's some Stellar in this wallet. There's 7,000 Stellar. Let's say I want to sell 1,000 Stellar, right? So I could log into a cryptocurrency exchange that supported Stellar. Tricks. We'll log in. Use our two-factor. All right, and then we go to wallets, and we're going to look for Stellar. Yeah, it's under lumens. So XLM, right? Now I want to deposit my Stellar onto this exchange. So I do make deposit, right? And let's see, give me an address. Let's see, give me, all right. So it's given me a memo, and it's given me an address. Use payments when sending us that tag is not including your transfer. We cannot credit your account. Please do not directly deposit from an exchange or pool unless they allow you to specify a tag, right? So what I would do is I would go to my Stellar-based wallet. All right. And then see there's the add memo. What is a memo, right? So first of all, we're going to get the address. It's a long thing here. Make sure we got it all, right? And let's go back here. And that's the address, right? And then they have a memo. I may not have needed it, but I'm going to put it in there anyway. See, it tells me they want me to put a memo in there, right? So there's my memo. Hope I got this right. Let's just send 10, right? Let's not go crazy. But you could send 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever you want to send, right? We'll send it. All right. There's my memo. There's my amount. There's my address. That was a long address, right? Huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it ends in F3. It starts in GB. I got the whole address, right? Now when I submit, it wants my ledger. It wants me to confirm on the ledger, right? That's the safety of the ledger. So it's telling me, okay, you're trying to send to this address. Do you want me to do it? Yeah. So there we go. I had some Stellar on my ledger. And the question was, what do I do if I want to get rid of it? What do I do if I want to sell it? Right? That was kind of weird. I think that was from before. All right, so you see my Stellar is down 10. I only sent 10. There's the 10. So I sent 10 to Bittrex, right? And let's close Bittrex. And it might be a while before I get it. Oh, there it is. It's already in there, right? So now I can take that 10 and sell it for Bitcoin or US dollars, you know, or whatever I want to do with it. So let's sell the Lumen. Let's put in bid, because bid is sell. Hit max sell. It's not much. It might even tell me, oh, that's not enough, right? It's going to give me 0.003. It might tell me, nah, it's not enough. All right, so you'd want to sell more than that, right? But you could sell it for Bitcoin, and bam, now you got your Bitcoin. You can cash out on the exchange. Bittrex, you can connect a bank account to Bittrex so that you can actually trade for US dollars. So if you go to markets, they have a US dollar account, right? So you can sell Bitcoin for US dollar and then request a withdrawal. Or you can send the Bitcoin to Coinbase into your Coinbase account, and then you can cash your Bitcoin out from Coinbase too. So I personally have a bank account attached to my Coinbase account. So if I deposit Bitcoin in Coinbase, I can cash out. I can cash out any cryptocurrency that's supported in Coinbase. Litecoin, BAT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. All of those can be cashed out in Coinbase. And the list gets longer. So it's getting easier to cash out. So that's the idea, right? If you're storing your crypto on your ledger, what happens if the price goes up and you want to sell it? The answer is you transfer it to an exchange that supports Stellar, so you can make a deposit of Stellar to the other place and then trade it for what you want, or sell it for cash, and then withdraw, cash out to your bank. Like if you have a Coinbase account, you can attach your bank account so that you can both deposit and withdraw when you want to. So Chadwick's asking about the security features of the ledger. So what happens when we went through it just a minute ago, and I closed live, unfortunately. But when you install an app, let's go back into it. When you install an app on your Ledger Live, I'm not sure if it's when you install the app or when you... no, it must be when you install the app, because you can't generate a Stellar address. So it must be when you install an app on the Ledger Nano S, and I've got them both connected now. So which one's going to ask me to... Let's see. I'll exit this out and see if it sees the black or not. Looks like it might. Yeah, okay. So when you install an app on the Ledger Nano S, what happens is that inside this mechanism, this chip, it generates a public-private key pair. Now that public-private key pair is just chosen randomly. But the numbers are so large that you could guess with 1,000 ledgers and 1,000 worlds and 1,000 universes, and never will it guess the exact same private key as someone else. It's weird. I know, it's like hard to believe, but and then that private key that gets generated is added. It becomes a blank address on the blockchain, right? But the private key, you never ever see the private key. So let's say we decide let's say we've added Bitcoin. We go over to our Bitcoin Ledger Black, right? We enter Bitcoin app. Let's go over here, wherever it is. I cannot see that private key. You remember we generated this, which I don't have anything stored in here, right? Nothing is stored in this. Oops. Sorry about that. Nothing is stored in this. But this is what the private key looks like. The private key is really long, and it's secret. No one sees it. This is the paper wallet. Now on the ledger, that private key is stored internally. You never see it. You only access its use. It is used to gain access to the Bitcoin address through the buttons, right? So you remember when I moved that Stellar, it asked me to confirm on the device. That was me telling the device to share the private key for that to sign that transaction. So it never really sends that private key out onto it. It does, it shares it, but the only way that anyone can move crypto out is by using that private key, by accessing it through the buttons. So no one can hack into my ledger and into my Ledger Live and transfer themselves 0.0 Bitcoin, because I would have to press the button for that, and I'm not going to press the button, right? So that's the security of the ledger. It stores the private key internally and only uses it to sign the transactions and send out. That's how that works. I know it's complicated. I don't know what I did. Did I lose you guys? No, I didn't lose. That is correct. Yeah, so the EOS, is, I apologize, I've never really been able to figure out how EOS works. The problem with EOS is that in order to, you have to create a wallet, you know, and in order to create a wallet, you kind of have to be a registered member of the EOS blockchain. And in order to do that, it gets complicated. It's like, but I think there are some wallets out there. Let me just give you an overview. Most cryptocurrencies support some sort of ledger login. Right there, and then it says how to use your current EOS account. That's my problem. I don't have a current EOS account. Let's see. So the idea is first you have to get an account, right? And then you're able to, they're going to generate a key pair for you to use. And somehow you have to get it on the ledger. That's right. You can store that EOS. This looks like a pretty decent. Oh, this is not bad. Okay, this might be a pretty decent explanation of the steps you have to go through. There's a lot of good stuff on Medium, so you might want to check that article out to go through the steps, right? So first you got to get the latest version of Ledger, update your firmware, install the EOS app, okay, make sure it's on here, and then you download Fairy Wallet. Once you download Fairy, you would create your own account by hitting the key. Create your new account on EOS mainnet. That's the part where I always get a little confused. But it looks like using this method, you can create a fresh wallet. Oh, it looks like you have to pay them too. You have to pay them. See, that's the problem with EOS. It's like I don't know, it's like private, sort of. And in order to get an account on the EOS mainnet, other people have to help you do it, the people that are already on there. So some of these things, they require a small service. So service charge. So depending on how much EOS you own, it might be worth it to go through this. I'm not sure how much they charge, but you're going to have to pay them for them to set up that account for you. And then you can connect to the account using the key that's on your ledger. And then you could take your EOS from wherever you bought it, whether it's on Binance or Bittrex, and then transfer it to the wallet, the ledger-based wallet. And then that's good for your long-term storage. But EOS has always been a little complicated. That's why I don't really... I tried to do a video on EOS and kind of got stuck. But maybe I will now. This looks like a pretty straightforward process. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Because I do have some EOS, and it's been just sitting on a exchange for a long time. Yeah, so... But the article looks pretty decent. Harry, my email address, I don't know, people seem to get my email address, but if you want to just email me, that's the best way to get started, you know. And it's CryptoDad@gmail, thecryptodad@gmail.com. Oops, there you go. You can get a hold of me like that. Yeah, it's just a regular old Gmail. Well, good. The best of luck to you, Betty. I hope you can get your EOS stored safely. How do they come to the market cap figure when it is not real? Well, you know, it's not the same as, say, Apple, right? There are lots of places and exchanges where they trade Apple stock around the world, but regulation requires the SEC and all the other government bodies, they have some sort of amalgamation in some way to get like what we would call the current price of Apple, right? And that's the official price of Apple stock or Facebook stock or what, you know, GE, which isn't that great of a company anymore, GM, whatever the case may be. If it's listed, it has a set price that's determined by a regulated process. Whereas Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have multiple different exchanges where the price may vary wildly. But in general, it's pretty close in practice. So what CoinMarketCap does is it brings together the most reasonable price based on its own survey of all the different cryptocurrency exchanges that are out there. Now, there are some people that and some articles that I've read that claim that the CoinMarketCap is biased, the way that it calculates prices and market cap. It's almost like you want to say, I'll just give you an example of of a gray area when it comes to that. Well, you can say Jeff Bezos is worth $300 billion, right? And they say that by adding up, I don't know, they kind of figure, well, he's got so much in the bank and he's got this, 5 houses and he has a bunch of Amazon stock, right? And the main component of his total wealth is that Amazon stock that he owns. And so they calculate that to be $300 billion. Well, he can't just cash out, because if he tried to sell all of his Amazon stock in one day, no one, there wouldn't be anybody that could buy that much of it. Even if he tried to sell it piecemeal, he would lower the price by dumping all his stock on the market. So it's not a very accurate way to say, well, Jeff Bezos' market cap is $300 billion, because it's not really. If he tried to exchange all his stock for dollars, it wouldn't work, right? So it's kind of the same with coin market cap. They have a way of calculating based on the current market price that they've determined and the current amount of the cryptocurrency that is in circulation, and sort of come to a figure to give it a market cap. And I guess some of these market cap estimates are more accurate than others, or some are more inaccurate than others. Maybe some of the smaller ones may not be very accurate at all, but I think they do a pretty good job of giving us an idea of the crypto market caps. And so you can look at these market cap figures here, and these are by market cap, so we can see, give a pretty good estimate, based on the number of Bitcoins that are currently in circulation. Now, this may be a bad figure too, because there are a lot of Bitcoins out there that are have been lost by people that lost their private keys or their password to their wallet, and it was say a web-based wallet, and that company's not around anymore, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of so-called lost Bitcoin. I don't know if they're including that or not, or if they are not including it, how do they figure how much Bitcoin is lost and how much Bitcoin is not lost, right? It's kind of a guesstimate. It's a game, right? But it's the best we've got. There are other sites where you can get other, let's see. There's, what's the name of this site? Coinpuffs.com, and their figures are slightly different. But they have their own method for generating market cap. See, they have market cap over here too. So it's just a guideline, right? It's just a guideline to give us some kind of idea, some way of comparing the cryptocurrencies to each other, and getting some idea of how much wealth or value is in circulation. But it's not an exact science. Okay. Best of luck to you, Betty. Betty, if you don't mind my suggesting, you might want to and if you have a little extra money, maybe just buy a little bit of Litecoin with maybe $100 worth of Litecoin on Coinbase, and try storing that on the ledger just to get the feel for it, since you've never done any crypto at all. Just as a test, right? I'm not talking about investing it in Coinbase. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about making a big investment in Litecoin. I'm just saying maybe a little bit of money in Litecoin just to give you a feel for how cryptocurrency moves back and forth, and how we do addresses. And check out some of my videos on moving crypto around. That's kind of one of the main themes of most of my videos, is moving crypto around. Let's see here. Yeah, there's. So let's look at the most viewed. So you can look at the most viewed video is, well, it's Google Authenticator now, but here's one on Bitcoin to store safely in a ledger. So it takes you through the whole process, how to buy it on Coinbase, how to store it, and how to move it onto a ledger. So maybe something to give you a little bit of practice, just to get you going. Something easy you can sink your teeth into. Since most altcoins are bought with Bitcoin and Ethereum, isn't the market cap really half the value of the total market cap? I'm not sure. If I'm not quite sure I get what you're saying. Like, I know that you can buy. Oh, I guess you're talking about the trading pairs. Like say, for example, Cardano. You know, you can't. Well, maybe not. Cardano's not a good example because I know you can buy that with cash. But let's just for argument's sake say Monero. We can't buy Monero with cash, so we have to use Bitcoin to buy it. They are two separate blockchains, though. So if I buy Bitcoin with Monero, I'm sorry, if I buy some Monero with Bitcoin, I don't have that Bitcoin anymore. So someone else has it. So the Bitcoin market cap stays the way it is, and then I just own some Monero now. And Monero is mined, right? So more Monero keeps getting added to the blockchain, and the miners are selling it, and the exchanges hold it, and people like me and you can buy some. Just because we used Bitcoin to buy it doesn't mean that it's like part of Bitcoin, or that when I spend Bitcoin market cap loses value and Monero market cap gains value. You know, that Bitcoin that I spent stays on the Bitcoin blockchain. It just belongs to somebody else. So the market cap stays the same. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm not sure if you're thinking about it in a different way. I might not understand your question. I'm a little fuzzy brained, right? It's Friday night. I do my best. Oh, cool. So Betty has a Coinbase account. That's a good place to start. And then also, there's another one for Litecoin. So I have a Litecoin video, which is very similar. It's just pretty much the same thing. How to buy Litecoin. And these are the most straightforward videos I have. And you can tell because they're some of my most viewed videos. So if you want to get a feel for storing coins on a ledger, I'd maybe start with these and maybe just buy a little bit just so you can move it around. Oh, guys, and don't forget to check out the Ledger Nano S sale. I have my affiliate link here. So if you're interested in a ledger, I don't know what I did. I did something weird. Oh, maybe it doesn't. It doesn't like that for some reason. Anyway, the link is in my description. If you're interested in a ledger, I would appreciate you using my link. I get a little commission when you guys use that link, and it doesn't charge you anymore. And it's not some rinky-dink third party. It's Ledger itself, which I recommend. You know I use the Ledger. You know I believe in it, and I would recommend buying directly from Ledger. You can buy it on Amazon too, but it's more. I think it's a more solid purchase. Just buy it directly from Ledger. So that didn't happen. All right, $50 worth of postage and shipping fee. Yeah, Oh yeah, they just had a big sale. So, and they sent me a congratulatory email saying that I sold a little more than usual this month. So all of you guys out there that followed my link and bought the Ledger, I really appreciate it. So I'm going to wrap it up. And thanks for joining. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. I'll go through there and see if I can find anybody that wants to email me. I threw up my email there. I'll start doing that stuff at the beginning from now on, so you guys will have a chance to get a hold of me. Don't forget, the live stream is every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Goes for an hour and a half. I'll be here to answer questions, talk about the news, talk about your opinions. Just kind of relax and join in the conversation. Hope to see you again. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks again, Scott.